Hello there, and how are you? Thank you so much for being here. And honestly, I am so excited to be here, quite frankly. You'll hear in the podcast what's kept me out for 6 months. 6 months, I haven't been doing a podcast that I've been doing for years. Like, I don't know how many years, probably 5 years. We've been dropping podcasts like normal every week, except during summer when we took summer vacation. And I really do believe in consistency, but sometimes things happen. So I'm glad to be back. What we're talking about today is whether you need to start small or start big or however it is, you also have to start imperfectly. So if you hear me stumbling over my words, well, there you go. It's been a little while since I've been in front of a mic, but I am so happy to be back. Have you ever really thought about the difference between whether you start small or you just do little tiny steps very frequently? That's something I tell people, like do some tiny steps add up. Or do you have that feeling like a whole lot of my women have, which is if you don't start big, why are you even bothering? Like that is a true feeling that we get. It's like, I need to do all the things. I need to do all the things. And the truth is that we can't do all the things. And so I'm here to just kind of give you an idea of whether it's not to tell you whether you should be starting small or starting big or whatever. And I think today is just to say, let's just think about where you are and what's going to serve you best when it comes to starting, restarting, doing something new, trying new things, whatever it is, wherever you find yourself right this minute. Like at any given point in time, I think there's always something that we're either beginning or ending or changing. And that's what this is about. Like a lot of times I talk about fitness. In fact, 99% of the time I talk about fitness, but a lot of it is how do you approach it? What's your mindset about it? What you need to know is both methods work. Okay. Both methods work. It's just you start in different places for different reasons. And when you know how to do it for you, then it's going to make the difference between burning out and just kicking butt. That's just the way it is. Okay. So let's start with starting small. And I just want to jump in on it a little bit. So starting small, first thing I want to tell you is not playing small. That's something people worry about that. They'll be like, yeah, no, I don't have time. I don't have time to start small. I can't play small anymore. I've got to do all the things. That's not what it is. Starting small is being very precise about what it is that you do, doing it in smaller increments than you might want to do it in. And like right this minute, I'm thinking of several friends who are recovering from any sort of injury, like injury or surgery. And I know how it is. You don't want to start small. You want to just like go all in, like, this is what I used to be able to do. So this is where I want to be now. Our bodies need to heal and they need to get readjusted to what it is that we want to do. So think about this. One way is if you're building a new habit or a new routine, usually that is a really good time to take small steps. And the reason for that is that if you try and change a whole bunch of habits at one time, or you try and do a full brand new routine at one time, your brain's like, wait, 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 what are we doing here? Like, this is how we used to do things. And we have these neural pathways that we've created in our brain that are like, this is the way, like, these are the trails that we take. Now, brain trails is what I call them. We've got our brain trail that we've always done something a certain way, and now we want to change something. It's a whole lot easier and a whole lot more effective if you do one thing at a time, like one change. Just make one small change until, I think it was Harvard that did the study that said it took 66 days. I don't really know how long it takes to change a habit or a routine. It's different for everybody, really. And the habit or routine that you're changing makes a difference. There may be some scientists out there that say, you know what, Kelly, you're wrong. But I've just been working with people for so long that I just see, some people can change a habit pretty darn quick and it sticks. And other people, it takes a long time. And every single time, what I have noticed is that if you tackle one thing at a time, it's going to be easier than tackling a whole bunch. So that's a good place to start small. Changing the habit. Just do one thing at a time. Maybe you're recovering from an injury or a setback. Another good time to start small. And one of the things I was thinking about is I have a friend, she is so big into pickleball. I mean, it's huge. She's not only is she love it, she's really good at it. And she twisted her knee. Turns out it needed to have a little surgery. It was more than a twist. She thought it was a twist. It was more than that. And so it took her a few months to recover. As she was recovering, she wanted the PT to go fast. She wanted to be back out on that court immediately. I mean, she wanted all the things as fast as she possibly could. And we were working together, and I would be like, you got to pull it back. I know. Trust me. I know this one. It is no fun. It's no fun to go slow. It's no fun to go small when you're used to really pushing hard. But that's the way that you heal. And that's the way that you heal for forever, right? Is to not re-injure yourself. So that's another good time to just start small. Realize that maybe it's going to take a little while, probably a little bit more while than you want, but sometimes, just keep doing the things slow and steady. My mother used to read me, what was that? I think it was Aesop's fable about the rabbit and the turtle. And the rabbit would run and then just stop for a while. And then the turtle was just always plodding. This is my mother's way of trying to teach me to always keep doing things. It stuck because those little teeny steps add up in that case. I'm pretty sure the turtle won the race because that was the whole purpose of that fable. But think about that, like, slow and steady, those small steps do add up. Another time that starting small can be really helpful is when you're just feeling unmotivated, like you just don't have the drive. You really, quite frankly, couldn't care less. You have that feeling in the back of your head that says, oh my gosh, I need to be working out. I need to be taking care of my health. I need to be eating right. But, in the frontal lobe, you're like, I couldn't care less. No motivation. First thing I'd like to say is that motivation, it's a learned behavior. It's not something we're born with. I have people who come to me all the time to work with me one-on-one, and they're like, well, I'm here because I just don't have any motivation. It's something I never got. And the truth is that it's something that if we don't learn, we don't have. It's easier to have it if you learn it in small steps, okay? Because motivation is one of those things, like if you go really big, go big as hard as you can, and you're all motivated, what happens? Like, we usually burn out. But if you can give yourself that gift of just starting slow, being aware, going slow, okay, I'm not motivated today. What's it going to take? That's the question. What's it going to take? We had somebody last night, I had a call with a group call. And one of the women that came on, she said, well, I'm just here for motivation, which I totally get, right? Like, it's fun. It's fun to get in a group of women and hear what everybody's doing and get motivated again, right? Like, be like, yes, I'm back in. And it was also the next piece to it is that we were like, well, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Well, she's doing things that she loves to do right now. She's dancing. Like, dancing is great exercise. And what she wants to add into it is some more like gym classes. So all she had to do for that motivation was, one, become aware, right? Become aware. Two, on the call, we put together a little accountability group, and they're motivating each other now. Use motivation that way. Small steps. Three, like somebody on the call said, pay for those classes. You pay for those classes, and then you're most likely going to show up with or without motivation, right? Because you put that out. And these are all things that we have gone over in past episodes, and we'll go over again in the future because they work, right? But think about that. They're just small steps. For her, it was not, okay, I need to go out and I need to go to the gym 5 days a week. Because she's not going to the gym now. So that would just be a bust, right? Might work for a week, might not, might work for 3 days. And not saying that she couldn't do it. It's just that it wouldn't be of value to her until she starts building that muscle of the habit and the motivation and all of those small steps starting adding up. So it really matters when you look at how you approach your fitness and how you're going to do this. One other one that I would like to mention is a great place to consider starting small is when you're changing your food, and you're changing your nutrition. I talked about that a second ago to some degree, but really that was more about habits. This is about when you decided that it's time to change your food, right? You've been eating however you've been eating for however long you've been doing it. And then all of a sudden you decide that you're going to become an intermittent fasting paleo, whatever goddess. Okay. Like this is what you're going to do. When we go all in, like all in on the food thing, we actually do it for a little while. But the truth is that our bodies, our brains, and our habits have all been doing the same thing for a long time, right? They've been doing the same kind of eating. And that's when you start messing with food, that's when people start, that inner 2-year-old comes out and they start throwing down and having tantrums. Like they're doing all great all day, like doing good, intermittent fasting and, only eating chicken or whatever it is. But all of a sudden, 4 o'clock comes along, 3 o'clock comes along. They're tired. They're starting to get, a little bit grumpy, a little bit hungry. And you say no. And that's when all bets are off, right? Like we're all in then. Now we want to eat all the junk. So think about starting smaller on your food. Food's a big deal, especially when you're removing the food that you might consider, if you've listened to me in the past, my comfort food is macaroni and cheese. Deep down inside, I'm an 8-year-old. That's still my comfort food. So, if you were to say to me, never again, Kelly, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I can't do that. But if you say, okay, Kel, just this week, right? Let's just start small. And just this week, leave the box of macaroni and cheese out. And really, maybe that box comes out once every 3 months. But if you tell me I can't have it, it's all you're going to think about. Think about that for a second. You tell yourself you can't have something, what's going to be in your head? So start small. Give yourself like one little piece that you're going to take out, and then the next little piece, and then the next little piece. Food's a big deal. So then let's flip the switch for a second. What about when you decide that like, maybe I just want to go all in? Like I want to make a big, bold step. And there are times that really works. There are times that it's a big, big deal. Usually it works when you already have a foundation. Okay. You've already got that foundation of whatever it is. You've got that fitness foundation for hiking, or you've got that foundation for dancing, or whatever it is. You're really set up and you decide that now it's time to go big. We have a podcast coming up and it's dropping the same day as this one, where I interview Renee Landers. And Renee at 68 decided time to go big. And she started competing in bodybuilding. So, which is pretty amazing because she is probably one of the only women her age now that is out there doing it. But she had this great foundation for years of working with a trainer and working out. And finally she just said, you know what? It's time to go big. She had a good foundation. Another way that it helps to go big is when you're prepping for something. It's usually like you have something that has a time frame. I see this a lot when maybe I've got an adventure trip coming up, and in 6 months is a good amount of time to train for one. 3 months is what people usually give themselves. So, at about that 3-month mark, I'll see people going, wait a second, I have to do something. I'm like, yeah, you really do. It would be a good idea. And so at that point, they need to go big, even if it means starting with less activity. Going big in that situation is not, I'm going to go out and I'm going to start hiking 15 miles today, because that's a recipe for disaster, quite frankly. It's more like, okay, I have this big goal. I know that in 3 months, I'm going to be doing whatever it is that we're doing. So I'm going to take that training plan that Kelly gave me, and I'm actually going to apply it. And that's when going big matters, right? Like when you really say, I'm applying this, I'm going to take, and I'm really going to take 5 days a week and do the things, even if they're not big things, they are things that are going to matter in 3 months. That's going big, right? So thinking about that, like getting a plan, having a big push, doing it, right? If you read my newsletter, one of my friends just recently did a hike. It's a hike that we've talked about in the past, and it's LeConte. You go up this mountain. I don't know how long a hike it is, really. I'm going to bet it's maybe 15 miles, but I'm not positive about that. But I would imagine it's probably about that. And there's a lot of elevation. She said when she decided to do it, she said, "You know what? I didn't feel like I was ready, but I knew that I had the foundation that I needed." And she did it, right? She went big. And if you're listening, congratulations. I'm still impressed that you did that. So, right? Like that was somebody, but once again, she had the foundation. She'd been lifting weights. She'd been working on her legs. She'd been doing all the stuff that she needed to do to get good enough to do the things that she wanted to do. So do those things, like, pay attention. Are you in that situation where you really need to start small? Are you in that situation where you're like, go big, go home? And I know that by doing that, I'm not going to cause problems for myself. That's the piece that I'm always, always, always asking people to look into, right? Like if you say like, I'm all in, that's great, but only be like 1,000% big push if you know it's not going to hurt your body, if you know you're not going to cause yourself issues. So a couple of questions that you could ask yourself. Like one of them is, if you're starting something new, like, are you new to something? If you are, then probably not the time to go really big. It's probably the time to start small. Use those careful steps, the steps that matter, to build the foundation so that you can continue to do that thing, whatever it is, for a very long time, right? Like ask yourself, is this something new? Or is this something that you've done in the past, something that you had the foundation for, something that, you're driven to actually just dive in and you're willing to give it the time, you're willing to give your body the strength and the rest that it needs to really just go all in. Just go all in, because it's different for everybody. And when you do that, you're going to find that you actually prove to yourself, whichever direction you take, right? You prove to yourself that you can do the things that you want to do. You prove to yourself that you can play big, whether you start small or you go big, right? Because that's what matters. It's like when we start making changes. I have a client, and probably 2 years ago, maybe a year, 2 years ago, she was having trouble going up and down stairs. It had become a thing. Like it was like literally, she would take a step and then the other foot would come up. Step, other foot would come up. And then going down was a really like very, very cautious, careful thing. We talked about it. And so I gave her some really simple exercises to start with, some really literally small steps. And she was doing them. She ended up moving into a house with 2 stories. And so I was like, how is that going to go? And she said, well, I'm still doing my small steps. So she kept doing those small step exercises that she worked on. And, one thing after another, literally one step after another, she's doing it. I stopped by her house one day to just say hi. She leads me upstairs to show me her house. And I'm noticing there is no hesitation on this walk. Tucked it right up the stairs. I'm like, kick ass. You are doing it. So then about a week later, we're together at a big park in Enchanted Rock, and we're going up the rock. It's big and it takes some time and effort, and she's doing it. And I was just so excited and humbled to see that somebody took the initiative to start small, to keep doing the things that she knew were going to work, even though they felt too little. They felt like they weren't, that she knew it was going to take a long time. And now today, a completely different woman. So congratulations, right? And this is what I like to get across is it really doesn't matter how you're doing this. What matters is that you're just doing it. So one thing I will say is that for me, I've had a lot of starting small this last year. I had an injury, had a lot of starting small. When it comes to the podcast, we are starting big. Like we're doing things that we've never done before. Today, if you're listening to this podcast when it drops, there'll be 2 more podcasts that drop today. Like I was like, let's just do a bunch of podcasts. Why not? I need to remember how to get behind a microphone again or in front of a microphone again. So you'll find that in this next one, the next episode that comes up, it's going to be short. Okay. It's worth the 10 minutes of listening to, because I talk a little bit more about this, but really it's more about the perfection piece. Like a lot of times we have this belief that if we aren't doing something perfect, then it's probably not, we're not doing it right. But the truth is that if we're trying to get something perfect, we're probably not going to start. And that's where perfection comes into starting. Because if we're waiting for perfect, and then the third episode that drops today is the episode I mentioned about Renee Landers. It's very seldom when we have somebody back on the podcast. She was so amazing the first time, and her story is so incredible because she was 68. She was in shape. She'd been lifting weights, but she wasn't really changing anything. She was just maintaining. And she decided that, okay, it's now or never. Her trainer had been talking to her about competing in bodybuilding for a long time. And now she is on stage. She is winning medals. She is like literally top of the game. And what we talk about actually has nothing to do with lifting weights. It's all about getting to that stage. So you will really love that. And you will love Renee because she is the cutest. And I just have to say, if you're still here, then kudos. You're the kind of woman that I like to hang out with. You're somebody who starts something and you finish it. So thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And you're going to hear something that most people aren't going to hear, which is I have something that we're doing right now. We're doing it for the summer. I don't know if we'll do it after summer, but it's something that my team came up with. And I said, sure, let's do it. Why not? And what it is that if you don't have a fitness plan, there's a lot of people who come into our Facebook group say that the thing that holds them back is they don't have a plan. So if you don't have a plan or you don't know what to do, that's another thing I hear a lot. Or you're struggling with time. Like you're like, I want to do these things, but I never have time for it. Trust me, you've got time. It's just a matter of finding the time and doing small things. Okay. I can work with what you have. And, maybe you're restarting, or maybe you're recovering from an injury, or maybe you've got a big adventure coming up and you want to feel like you're ready for it. Whatever it is, I want to help you build the plan that fits you exactly where you are right now. And this is something that really falls in my zone of genius. I love sitting down with somebody, whether it's, in this case, it will not be face to face. It will be through some information I send you. I can sit down with what I have from you and I can go, okay, this is the kind of plan that's going to work for you. And I'll put it together for you. It's going to be custom. It'll be just for you. You'll get a video and you're going to get a written plan. It's going to be based on your goals. It's going to be based on your schedule, and it's going to be based on exactly where you are right now. When you change in 3 months, then we talk about doing something different. So, but just know for right now, we've got to start somewhere. And like I said, this is my zone of genius and I love doing it. I love figuring out the next right steps. If you go to our website, fitasfreedom.com/plan, pretty simple, fitasfreedom.com/plan, you'll be able to grab one. I am only doing 20 right now because my team came up with this price that's so incredibly low that I'm like almost embarrassed to say it, but I'll just say it. It's $55. I'm like, really, ladies, why are we doing $55? But I'll do it for 20 people. So if you're interested, I would love for you to come join us because I think it's going to be really fun. I believe that fitness should be like freedom. It shouldn't be frustration. I want you to be feeling like fit, free, like you're having fun and all the good stuff. So that's all I'm going to say. It's fitasfreedom.com/plan. And thank you again so much for being here. The next episode's very short. Jump in and listen to it because I think you're going to love it. See you. Bye-bye now.